Every kid loves Christmas because it's when they get presents from Santa. As a kid, I actually hated Santa for some reason. Maybe it was some repressed trauma, but all I know is the first time I met a Santa and sat on his lap and he did this happy, jolly thing, I couldn't stop crying. I was like 2 or 3. When I was 4, my family went to a mall for easy shopping, and there was a whole Santa village set up there that I avoided like it was on fire. My mom thought it would be good to try and break me in and get over my fear, so she took me up, not to Santa, but to one of the elves, one of the teens they underpay to manage the photos and less magical side of the business. But she misunderstood. She thought I wanted to sit on Santa's lap, which led to yet another meltdown and made me afraid of going shopping for the fear that there would be another Santa hellscape waiting for me. Then, when I was 5, I woke up on Christmas morning before the sun even came out. I was scared of something and didn't know what. It was one of those weird prescient moments where you know something is off nearby, even if you can't see it. And as a tiny child, I lacked the common sense to just stay in bed and hope it went away. And obviously, being Christmas, I went out to check the den where our tree was set up and where our chimney was, because if anything was going to go wrong, it would come from there. There had to be a Santa in the house. Well, there wasn't. There was a man in the house, dressed in black, including a ski mask over his face, with a canvas bag that he was stuffing things into. Whatever looked like it was made of gold or silver, he stowed it carefully so it wouldn't make a noise. My parents told me, due to my phobia, that Santa wasn't really real, so I didn't have to be afraid of anything. So, when I saw this man, not dressed like Santa, and doing the opposite job, I just started wailing, scream crying, tantrum shouting stuff. It must have scared the hell out of him. Just turn around and see a little boy in the dark screaming like a ghost. My parents got up and my dad got the guy before he managed to escape. The police came, arrested him, took the sack as evidence, and a few days later, we got all our stuff back. Apparently, we were just one of many hits he'd done on the street. It was the scariest Christmas ever.
When people think of Christmas, they don't often think of terror. It's supposed to be the most cheerful time of the year. That's what all the songs say. For many people, it's a wonderful day of celebration and gift giving and family closeness. That doesn't mean it can't also be a bad day. I'll never forget when I was a kid. I was looking forward to Christmas so much because I knew it meant the thing I wanted all year was finally going to be mine. I'd been good. I'd been patient. I followed all those staple tropes of how to get your parents to give in without pestering them. I was going to get an iPad, and no one would stop me. That's how it should have gone. I went out with my mom to get one, just a few days before the actual day itself. According to her, it was the best time to go Christmas shopping, when stores were absolutely desperate to move everything they had before the end of the year. The only better time would be after Christmas, but by then, you're shopping for what everyone didn't buy. On her advice, we got to the Walmart right before noon. The early morning shoppers were gone and having lunch, and the after work and afternoon shoppers weren't in yet. It was a normal busy day, not holiday busy. We made a rush for the electronics section, where plenty of people were around getting TVs and game consoles and all the latest trendy tech Walmart could stock. I went straight for the iPads to get the one I wanted, or whatever one was left, but I was hopeful. I saw it there in the box and reached over to grab it. It wasn't even the last one on the shelf, and then it got grabbed from me by an angry older woman. Just a little mistake, right? I could just get another. Then she reached down and grabbed my hand. "What do you think you're doing?" she shouted. "You dirty little thief. Where's your mother? Grubby little pickpocket." I was stammered. I didn't know what she was talking about, and no one around us in the whole store seemed to be bothered. She just yanked at me, hurt me, and pulled me away from the iPads I wanted. Get over here, you're going to be arrested. People like you don't deserve Christmas. I screamed for help. Finally, someone came over, an employee who asked if anything was the matter. The woman tried to insist that I was trying to take her iPad from her, and to call the police and to handcuff me to the register. And I ran. I ran off, didn't even get an iPad on my own, and ran all the way out to Mom's car. She came back after an hour with the iPad I wanted, and saw how much I cried and was upset. She asked what was wrong, and all I could say was, "I hate shopping." We've ordered stuff online ever since.
I was driving home as normal, locked up in Christmas traffic. You'd think all those people had somewhere important to be on the most family-centric holiday of the year. But everyone seemed to have the same idea at the same time. Leave early and get home before dark. Well, it was dark, and I was only halfway out of the city. On top of all of this, it was snowing. Because of course it was. It doesn't matter where you live, you get snow on Christmas. Or, at the very least, you get bad roads. I figured I was better off not staying on the highway when I saw a car ahead of me and 2 lanes to the right try to creep up over a small rise in the road and slide backwards into the bumper of the car behind them. I know the roads really well, all the shortcuts and sly wraparounds you can use to avoid major holdups. I took one that I knew would go through another small town that should be a lot quieter and easier to manage, as well as plowed and treated. I got on the main road, no other cars. It was almost eerily empty. I went from side to side dead stop traffic to just nothing, surrounded by wide open fields and occasional patches of forest. I kept my pace low, about 10 to 15 miles under the posted limit, just to stay calm and casual. The roads were a bit slippery thanks to the snow. I came up to a blind corner. On my right was a steep grade of trees that rose up to a hillside, and on my left were more trees, but also a guardrail that blocked the equally sharp descent. The road was carved and flattened out around the edge of a steep wooded hill. I could already feel my car not quite gripping the road completely. I bumped my lights from standard to high beams. Something was in the road. I shoved on the brakes and immediately lost control. I kept the wheel straight and felt my back end drift until it scraped against the side railing on my right. I was still going and now headed for another side of the road. I finally managed to stop and assess the situation. No cars were coming, thankfully, so I straightened out and got around the curve, then went back on foot to inspect. Deer crossings aren't unheard of, but that wasn't a deer. I checked for tracks on the road and up the hill to see what it could have been. I found some, but they weren't hooves. Not even a boot. They were huge and perfectly round and went from up the hill down the other side. Like elephant legs, deep circle impressions of an unfamiliar creature with reflective eyes that tried to cross the road ahead of me. My real gift that year was a question. What is living out in those woods?